Tim, I can't thank you enough, man. You have been so helpful, and I never would have come out here if not for you. So take care, man. Just want to say, Greg, Timmy, I've done about 6 miles on a washboard, gravelly, dirt, slippery road, and you guys are brave as hell to be riding your big ass bikes as fast as you do, because I'm crawling in first and second gear on the way up, and I'm crawling down in first gear on the way down, because every time I put my brakes on, they go into anti-lock mode, and I'm like, oh hell, I'm going over those cliffs. So everybody, go check out the Bearded Grump on YouTube. Those guys ride these big heavy VStroms like they were dual sports. It is just insane. Very impressed, guys. First of all, welcome to the channel, and thank you for stopping by. When time permits, please consider subscribing. I'd greatly appreciate it. Today I am sitting about 3/4 of the way up a mountain in the Olympic National Forest in Washington, approximately 3,000 miles from home. And I just wanted to take a minute to make a video and talk about how and why this has happened. If there's one thing I learned early on riding motorcycles, is that there is definitely a camaraderie, a shared experience between bikers. We all do different things for work. We may live different places. We may be very different people. But you can absolutely, as corny as it sounds, come together over your shared love of getting on a motorcycle and going places. And that's how I ended up here. I wanted to talk to people like me about the things I enjoyed. I was looking to talk to people about camping, adventure riding, adventure bikes, traveling. Now, I didn't intend to travel 3,000 miles to get on a motorcycle I'd never seen, which is what I'm doing right now. But I did want to chat with like-minded people. And so I did what everyone does in 2019, maybe 20. You go on the internet. So I hopped on a Discord for a fairly well-known YouTuber, and I just talked. I chatted. I asked questions. I answered questions. I asked people how they were. I found out what rides were like in other places, and I told people what things were like where I lived. And I was having a great time of it. And then out of the blue last year, one of the guys asked me, would I be interested in coming out to South Dakota? A group of guys, some from the Southeast, one from Ohio, a bunch of guys from the Pacific Northwest, were all going to meet in South Dakota for a week-long ride. And I thought to myself, I've never been to South Dakota. I've never taken a week-long ride. That sounds like a great time. And so I told them, absolutely, I would love to join you. I didn't know any of these people, hadn't met a single one. But what could I lose? I mean, besides, being killed and thrown in the woods. But no, what could I lose? I'm about to go out and spend time with bikers. They're people that like adventure bikes. They're people that like to ride their bike. All but one of them like to camp. And I went ahead and I made the approximately 2,000 mile trip. Now, I did not ride on that trip. I put the KTM 390 Adventure on the back of the van and I drove out there. And I'm really grateful I did, because the winds and the plain states, I think the bike would have blown off the highway. But I went ahead and I spent a week riding with people that I had only chatted with online. I used the internet to make friends. Again, sounds pretty corny, doesn't it? But I had a really, really great time. And I kept in touch with these guys. I text a bunch of them. We're mostly all still on the same group. We're all moved to a different Discord now, but the same group is there, plus some other guys. And this year, the plan was for the group of guys to go somewhere else. And that just didn't work out for a host of reasons. And at the last minute, Tim, great guy, he's from New York, how could he not be? He lives in Washington, and he said, how about we just see if the guys want to go to Custer, South Dakota again. And I was like, man, I'll go anywhere. I just want to get together, ride, be away from home, see new places. And so Tim sent it out to everybody. How about we just go to Custer? And with one exception, all the other guys are coming. And this year, 3 more guys are coming. Again, the power of the internet. It's absolutely amazing. Use it. So I'm planning on how I'm going to get out to South Dakota this year. I was the only guy that trucked my bike out, and I had, felt a little bad about that. All these guys hopped on their bikes, rode the hard miles, did the work, rode all week, and then rode those hard miles home again while I sat in my camper van relaxing. So I did very much want to ride my 390 Adventure out, and I just couldn't make it happen. I couldn't get the time off from work that I would need to carefully ride that bike out there, avoiding the highway plains where I didn't think the bike was going to handle it very well. It's too lightweight. It doesn't have enough power. It's going to get pushed around. I'm an old dude. I do not want to get pushed around on the plain states. So I ended up thinking I just have to truck it out again. That's the only real way to do it. It'll take less than half the time both ways, and I'll still get to go have a great time. But then I started getting a really crazy idea. Now keep in mind, I don't have any family out here. I don't have anyone I went to school with. I don't have anyone I grew up with. I know one kid who his dad and I are friends that theoretically, if something really went bad, Alan's a great guy and I bet he would help me out here if I ran into a problem. But for the most part, I've got no one on this coast except a bunch of guys I met on the internet. So into my head came this bright idea. Why don't I buy a bike in Oregon or Washington, ride to South Dakota with the guys, pound those miles, and then ride home? It's going to be somewhere between 4,500 and 5,000 miles. I'm like, it's a stupid idea, but you only live once as far as I know. I'm going to try it. So I reached out to Tim. And Tim's like sending me bikes. This bike is in Washington. That bike is in Oregon. I bet you can get that one. And I did eventually pick a 2014 VStrom 1000. And one of the other guys, Hobbs, I'll go look at it for you. He goes, he looks at the bike. He goes, would you like me to buy the bike for you? I'm like, absolutely. Please do. Let's get this bike and let's just fly out west. And that's a story for another video. I probably went on too long about that. But the point is, if you have people around you that bike, if they adventure the way you want to, if they are meeting all of your biker needs, great. But if they are not, I cannot recommend strongly enough, find your biker people online. All of my off-road buddies, every last one is from a Facebook group in my area. These guys that I'm riding with this week, these guys I'm riding with next week, these guys that helped me get a motorcycle, I met them all on a Discord for motorcycle enthusiasts. So I see all the time people in my comments, people in other ones' comments. I'm riding on my own. It's just me. Wow, I wish I had someone to go somewhere with. Guys, make it happen. Seriously, thanks to the internet, there are like-minded people out there. Find your tribe, find your group, whomever they are. Whatever you ride, there's a group of guys that will chat with you, talk with you. And if you're lucky, if you have the time, if you have the means, you're going to go out and meet some great people, and they will show you places like this. So, just wanted to say, you don't have to ride by yourself. If there's no one near you, go find somebody. They're definitely out there, and they are solid, great people. Go meet some. Well, if you stuck around this long, I appreciate it, and take care.